Jai. Radha Govinda Madhava ki
Jai.
Krishna Balaram Giraj Maharaj ki
Jai.
Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So we continue our reading of Srila Prabhupada Lilmrita at home in India. Peut-être qui c'est qui parle pas français, l'anglais?
English only.
So translator will go there or what?
Moi je peux fouiller.
You can translate? Thank you. So we are in the middle of Srila Prabhupada establishing Krishna consciousness in India with his disciple. That's his first visit in India, at home in India. So he feels confident that his endeavor to spread Krishna consciousness through America and then to the rest of the world was becoming successful. So in the last session we saw how he was received by Mrs. Gandhi, Prime Minister of India, and how she appreciated his work. I suppose that's where we stopped last time. She appreciated his preaching, and Prabhupada asked different things. Immigration for foreigners, his disciple, or MPs, prime ministers, initiated brahmanas. Sanjaya the king closed slaughterhouse, so he was asking big demands. 5 chanting, that was, he wanted to speak with Mrs. Gandhi. Meat eaters only at home, no public meat eating, prostitution punishable, no religious group except Bhagavad Gita as it is, all government officers must join Kirtan at least twice a day. Support Krishna consciousness all over the world. That was Srila Prabhupada's plan. It was not a small thing to establish all this point. Requires a lot of commitment from the government and the team around. So that what Prabhupada was speaking with Mr. Gandhi, these 5 topics, of course. Hardly anything have been done, or something is around the corner, let's put it like that. Something like that is around the corner. One day, hopefully, it will tend to this target. So, we are here in New Delhi. A few days later, while still in New Delhi, Srila Prabhupada received a letter from Rameshwar. The BBT, Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, the organization run by devotees who are in charge of publishing and printing Srila Prabhupada books. So the BBT in Los Angeles was miraculously fulfilling Srila Prabhupada's order to publish 17 volumes in 2 months. In 2 months, 17 volumes. We speak of Chaitanya Charitamrita. The composers, editors, artists, and workers had ecstatically finished their marathon on schedule. When the first book had come back from the printers and had been offered on the altar of Rukmini Dwarkadish are the deities in Watseka Avenue in Los Angeles that are presiding the yatra in Los Angeles. And had offered on the altar of Rukmini Dwarkadish, the first books, the devotees had cried in transcendental bliss, chanting again and again the mantra to Srila Prabhupada. They were feeling the potency of the order of the spiritual master and seeing themselves as instruments in carrying out what at once seemed an impossible request. Today, so that's the letter. Today, our composer finished the last volumes of Chaitanya Charitamrita. By Wednesday next week, August 20th, all volumes will be at the printer. Now, they are just starting to compose the 5th canto, and the entire canto will definitely be at the printer by Vyasapuchite. So, on top of Chaitanya Charitamrita, there was other volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, here we speak about the 5th canto, which is a difficult, even nowadays, canto to render in proper Western language. After promising delivery of books by October at the latest, the letter was signed by about 60 devotees, your unworthy servants at ISKCON Press. On their behalf, Rameshwar stated, "We have lost all desire to do anything except be engaged in producing and distributing your transcendental books by the millions in every town and village." Srila Prabhupada wrote back the next day from Delhi. "Regarding your desire for all 12 cantos, you will get it, rest assured. So your so much ardent desire will be fulfilled by Krishna." On August 21st, Rameshwar sent Srila Prabhupada the telegram. "By the mercy of Lord Bharavan, Nityananda, the last volume of Chaitanya Charitamrita is leaving today for the printer. By your mercy and divine order, it is done." Although Srila Prabhupada traveled on to Vrindavan, the devotees were able to dispatch advance copies of all 15 volumes to him by the 80th birthday on August 21st. Just after Prabhupada observed the ceremony at the temple, a devotee arrived in Vrindavan with the final 6 volumes of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. With great relish and satisfaction, Srila Prabhupada examined the books. He was pleased with the artwork and quickly became absorbed in reading the pastime of Lord Chaitanya. He felt so inspired. He remarked to the devotees in Vrindavan that he was thinking of stopping all touring and just staying in Vrindavan and translating. The reciprocation of the devotees at ISKCON Press was so sincere that it increased Srila Prabhupada's desire to reciprocate with them. He wrote to "My dear Rameshwar and company." So that's a letter. "You have taken seriously the publishing and the distribution of these books, and that's the success of our mission. You have taken seriously this work, and I know that my Guru Maharaj is pleased with you because he wanted this. So by this endeavor, you will all go back home, back to Govardhan." Although Srila Prabhupada had mentioned that he would like to sit in Vrindavan and simply translate Srimad Bhagavatam, his stay there was characterized by intensive management, not by writing. He had presided over the grand opening of the Krishna Balaram Mandir 4 months ago, and now he will demonstrate how the temple should be run. The Krishna Balaram Mandir was a Vedic temple complex at a famous holy place, and it was being scrutinized by persons already strongly opinionated on how a temple should be run. By persons who were giving their opinion about how a temple should be run. Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapatadam Mutale Swaya Rupa Karamadyam Dadati Saparantikam He Krishna Karina Sindhu Dinamandu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Tapta Kanchana Gurangi Rati Vrindamaneshwari Vishanu Sutiti Vipranamami Anchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Yaiva Chapadiranam Pavarebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. So here we see how the fruits are falling. You plant the seeds, you water, and you do everything for growing what you expect in your activities. And after some time you get the fruits, you offer it to Srila Prabhupada, and you get, because he's satisfied, you get mercy, and you get full result in your Krishna consciousness, and ultimately you go back home to Godhead, which is one target, but not also ultimate target. So, the seeds that were planted were the instruction of Srila Prabhupada asking his devotee to publish and print the volumes on the wall of Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is a huge book with the purport, and it's printed in French in 4 + 4, 8 volumes, but here we are speaking of something like 15 volumes or something like that. Plus, not only translating, but also painting, because we have a lot of painters and a big marathon like that. So it was a big marathon for a lot of devotees, even to the point of skipping some meals and doing some service at night. And because the team was so united, it gave satisfaction to Krishna. Like our Maharaj was speaking a few days ago about the Prachita, or they were so united that Lord Shiva and then Lord Vishnu afterwards took the opportunity to give their darshan to them. And they were so advanced that they could meditate and do the sadhana at the bottom of the ocean for 10,000 years in a united way. Up to the point of, like the Pandava, they were able to have one wife for 7 without any dispute in between themselves. It requires a lot of you say in English, I don't. Of a lot of unity in between those brothers, not to trifle and get pretext to drop their service because they don't like each other like that, like we are accustomed to see in the material world. So because of this unity and this brotherhood, Lord Krishna was satisfied. So similarly, we have a similar situation where the devotee were so much appreciating the endeavor of Srila Prabhupada to publish and push the printing of these books, that they were just absorbed in the service and not become diverted in a trifle or little story, or they were really focused on one target. One thing to do, and you do it in a spirit of like a commando. I don't know, in English, you have this word, a commando. A group of people, they have a special mission to do, they are equipped, they do it, no problem. So this spirit was there at this time. And I remember in the 80s, in like that, it was also like that with the devotees here. They were focused in one target. And it was satisfying Lord Krishna, and they would be reason. So like that, sometimes, so sometimes like that, when spiritual life becomes relaxed or easy, sometimes Krishna arranges situation so that the devotee can concentrate more on their targets, which is generally fixed by the spiritual master. So the spiritual master is there to focus the attention and the concentration of service in one particular target. But this instruction must be in accord with, in relationship with, must follow the other instruction from the past spiritual master. Like here we see that Srila Prabhupada was following the instruction of his Guru Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. If you have money, print books, he was told at Radhakud during Rajmandal period. So here, he had money, manpower, intelligent people, technology, everything. So what he did, he printed books. He invested in printing books. Because the books are like the basis of the foundation of the movement. Like foundation, if you want a high building or skyscraper, you have to have a firm foundation. So here Srila Prabhupada, he would often speak, it's not me who speaks, it's Krishna through the scripture. I'm just making available to you the scripture that were recorded some 5,000 years ago and even before. There's no count. It has been put on little plaquette, the books at the time, engraved some 5,000 years ago, but before it was transmitted orally, because there was no need for supporting the memory. The people were remembering just by hearing once. So now the time have changed, people have no memory, so they need support of hard drive or keys or books or something. Because everything is becoming washy-washy. Not only the memories, but the truthfulness. So many human qualities are becoming dissolved by the influence of Kali Yuga and time. So here, through this example, we can see how the focusing of our mind on the instruction of the spiritual master leads us on tremendous success. Because not only you go back to Godhead, you are liberated. Of course, you chant Hare Krishna once, you are liberated. But we have to understand that we are on the way of liberation. When Prabhupada says you are liberated, it means Hari Prasad was giving this analogy. He says, when you purchase a ticket to go to India, you go out from your house, you turn around the corner, and if someone comes to your home, the neighbor will say, he's gone to India. He doesn't know where he is exactly, but he's on the way to India. So similarly, when you buy your ticket by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, you are on the way to the spiritual world. So it takes a time to reach the destination. You have to endeavor, you have some, every travel has risks. You have to protect your ticket, your money, your life, everything. But if things go regularly, you water your plant regularly, you cultivate your bhakti latavich regularly, then success is guaranteed. Not only to go back to Godhead, but ultimate goal is really to get Krishna prem, love of Radha Krishna in our heart. And going back to Godhead, we may go, we may not go. The real devotees, they don't care. As if you get love of Godhead, you will have nice association also with other devotees, and you will be in the spiritual world, even if you stay preaching in this world. Because we have these kind of cases also, like in Chaitanya Charitamrita, with the pastime of Gopan the witness. The two Brahmana, the old Brahmana and the young Brahmana, who was promising the daughter of the old Brahmana in marriage, but after the family didn't want. So the young devotee came back to Vrindavan and said, I don't care about marrying or what, but the Brahmana I serve, he made a promise and he should accomplish what he said. So, how to solve the problem? Ultimately, this devotee could speak to the deity. He was quite advanced. So ultimately he said, why don't you come to witness? Because they don't believe, the family don't believe the old Brahmana. You come, you say your word, because the story happens near Jagannath Puri, Shakshigopal. The witness is near Jagannath Puri. If you take train from Howrah to Jagannath Puri, Calcutta, from Calcutta to Jagannath Puri, before reaching Jagannath Puri, you will see a train station, Shakshigopal. You can have darshan of Shakshigopal and then take the train to Puri if you want. So they were arguing in between the deity and this advanced devotee. And the devotee said, deities don't work. They are meant to be worshipped in a temple, in an altar. But the devotee, he argued, he said, if you can speak, you can work. There's no problem for you, you are not limited. Then, ultimately, the deity followed this Brahmana, who would cook every day a certain amount of rice, but without, he had to go Jagannath Puri around without looking behind for the deity. He had to go straight. He could just hear the tingling of the, what do you say?
Ankle bells.
Ankle bells. Like that he was knowing that Krishna was following him. And at the end, Krishna witnessed by staying as a deity in the field, in the middle of nowhere, near the village where they reached. So this devotee was very advanced like that. So the people make a festival, install the deities, the young devotee was married, and everybody was happy. Happy end. So, devotees, they get rewarded in a way that they don't expect. Krishna fulfills their desire. And that the intensity of the desire is appreciated by Krishna. That's what Prabhupada wrote about the next day from Delhi. Regarding your desire for all 12 cantos, you will get it, rest assured. Your so much ardent desire will be fulfilled by Krishna. So, the whole hub of Krishna consciousness is to change the quality of our desire. For millions of material desire, we just have to focus on trying to satisfy Krishna. But changing the desire, my dear devotee, is not a simple thing. Because are deeply, deeply rooted in the core of the heart. And you see that even changing mentality in between, we have a war between Ukraine and Russia. They are same people, brothers, sometimes fighting. But just because that conditioning is different, they kill themselves. Because they have been brainwashed in a way, and brainwashed in another way. Then it leads to a clashing between themselves. So you see that the cultivation of the desire can be sometimes dangerous. Because some desire can lead you down the ladder of the mind. The mind can be a friend, can be an enemy. You can go upward, you can go back down. So, how to make a friend, the mind, turn it in a friend, this is the science of Krishna consciousness. You will make it a friend when you organize your mind to be like the mind of the spiritual master. Not easy. But if you start by serving, little and by little, you take the same mentality, service mentality. You're not an angel, but if you follow the way angels are acting, you will be an angel one day. Shri Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita, if you worship devatas or ghosts in a proper way, you develop the same mentality as them. And at the time of death, you go on the planet of devatas or you go on the planet of ghosts. Depends on the quality of your desire. So, if we can change our desire and according them, put them in tune with the desire of the spiritual master, who are also in tune of the previous spiritual master, we are also in tune, etc., etc., in tune with Brahma, in tune with Krishna. Then you become linked to Krishna in a subtle way. Very simple to understand. But the difficulty is our desires are so deeply rooted and so donkey-like. We don't want them by intelligence, but we still have them. They don't go like that easily. In Adina Chintamani, written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, if I don't lose my memory. It is said that a kitchen, when you hire a gîte or a place or an hotel or something you want to stay a long time, like we were doing past time in Sankirtan, we are hiring a house for a few months. So the first thing we will do in the kitchen would be to completely scrub everything, to purify it. Cow dung, even some parties they have cow dung meant for that. Yes, my dear devotees. The devotees at this time, they were really into making the house like a small temple, because they would stay for a few months. So they would scrub the kitchen, but still, even it was purified, clean, everything. Still, you have a lingering smell of the past things that have been cooked by the previous cooks. So similarly, the heart may be cleansed, scrubbed with bleach, soap, so many things, the chanting, the prashadam, but still there is a lingering perfume, bad odor from the past activities that we performed during millions of years in the material world. So we think we are harassed by the mind, by this habit, by this, that. But you have to think that you are finishing the books of your pastimes in the material world. And there's many chapters, many stories, many pages that have been read and imbibing subtly in our mind from our pastimes. So it's not such a simple thing to get rid of our desire and to make it only focus on what the spiritual master says. Tendency on there, and it takes time to get rid of them. So you see, every devotees, dear devotees, the desire, changing the quality of desires is not so easy. When we have the opportunity to have a nice spiritual master who induces in a service where we are focused in satisfying the parampara, it's a big mercy. It's a big mercy because it's not easily to have the association of advanced devotees. Because advanced devotees are normally not part of this world. Normally, pure devotees are in the spiritual world. They are not in the lower planets. But nowadays, because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu came, and they led some boats to cross the ocean of birth and death. So some advanced devotees are taking birth in this age because there's a need once in a day of Brahma to give Krishna prem to a maximum of people. It's like an auction. You don't have to pay so much to get Krishna prem, but there is a price at least. When you see in comparison with the austerity of the Prachetas during 10,000 years, meditation, 10,000 years. The process was different. So everything becomes reduced in Kali Yuga, but also the process becomes in as much amplified and simplified to be available for a resident of Kali Yuga. Can I read a little more? Some question or commentary, maybe?
I just want to share the importance of reading Srila Prabhupada's Lilmrita. I don't don't know if everybody has the book or know about it. It's extremely important book in our movement, because Prabhupada said printing the books was the main business. That intensified. He read an article in the Times of India. It said the communism is spreading everywhere because they were distributing books. And that was the power of the book. So at that time, when he learned that, he straight away went straight into printing more books, and also the Back to Godhead magazine. And he realized that this was so important, because printing, distributing books was the magic bullet. And all the Vaishnavas here, everybody was distributing books. It's a really good thing, and we say in our movement that these books are a time bomb, because there will come a time when everybody will refer to the books that have been distributed. In their lifetime, they will take that book, read it, and think, wow, this is something very special. And reading the Lilmrita, so if we want to deepen our Krishna consciousness, if we want to deepen our love for Srila Prabhupada, this is the book to read, because it gives the journey of Srila Prabhupada in very minute detail, and all the obstacles that he went through. And the obstacles we are going through now in our journey here throughout the world are very minute. Srila Prabhupada had obstacles throughout his life, but he never gave up. From the age of 22, he had obstacles. His Guru Maharaj, Siddhanta Saraswati, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami, gave him the instruction at the age of 22 to print books and distribute to the Western world. So he went through lots and lots of endeavors, and he was constantly thinking of how he's going to achieve this. So from the age of 22 to the age of 70.
26.
26? 26.
1922 to 26 years old.
Okay. So, sorry, 26 years old to 70 years old, he was constantly thinking, how am I going to achieve my Guru Maharaj's goal? So when we think of doing something, it's not an instant thing, because in this day and age, as Prabhu was saying, it's a phone, it's a tablet, it's this, we get the answers straight away. And the teenagers of this world, if you ask them to do something, it has to be done instantly. Their time span, their thinking time is very little. If you look at the videos that we are sending now, if it's more than half a minute, they're not interested. Our thinking power is diminishing. So we have to endeavor. And that way we will understand Srila Prabhupada. So I highly recommend, please read these books. So they are in 2 volumes, volume 1 and volume 2. And there is a very small version as well. It's called Srila Prabhupada, Your Ever Well Wisher. So please read that, and you will deepen your love of Srila Prabhupada, deepen your understanding of Krishna consciousness, what it is to be in Krishna consciousness. It's not just, oh yes, we come to the temple and we read the Bhagavad Gita, but it has a very deeper understanding, deeper meaning of being in Krishna consciousness.
Thank you. Prabhupada, after appreciating the books sent by Rameshwar from Los Angeles to Vrindavan, was actually disturbed by the problems of management. The temple was been opened 4 months ago, and to run the temple is not an easy thing. Immediately, Prabhupada found discrepancies. In the guest house, which was for guests, not disciples, he found married disciples living with their children. This was not proper, he said, and this family would have to find other quarters nearby or leave Vrindavan. He also found problems with the plumbing, the municipal sewage system, the financial management, the deity worship, the cleanliness, and the devotees' behavior. Almost every area of temple life and every devotee required special attention. In the smallest discrepancies, Prabhupada would sometimes see the essence of all problems, and he would instantly point it out. And because his disciple took his word with utmost seriousness, as coming directly from Krishna, his reprimands were often devastating. Prabhupada was a difficult taskmaster. A Vaishnava is said to be as soft as a rose and as hard as a thunderbolt. But Prabhupada began showing more the thunderbolt side of his personality. Sometimes a neophyte's conception of the spiritual master is that he must always be peaceful and pleased with everything that happens. But that this is a sign of his being situated in transcendental consciousness. Srila Prabhupada, however, demonstrated many moods, including anger. In his material form, anger or krodha is described in Bhagavad Gita as occurring when one's lust or karma cannot be fully satisfied. A true sadhu, therefore, because he does not have lusty desires, does not become possessed by anger. So here we see in the practical life, in temple life, how so many problems are to be dealt. The guests, the disciples, married disciples, children, problem with maintenance, plumbing, the sewage, recurrent stories because the devotee cooks a lot, consumes a lot of water, takes a lot of shower, then very often the sewage system is not fit. We saw that in Paris when we were in Noisy-le-Grand, when they shift the deities from here, dear devotees, Radha Parishishva, deities and Jagannath Baladev Shivadwa and Nita Sachisuta, they were in the room next here. So when after a few months they get back to Paris, near Paris, in Noisy-le-Grand, and they had the same problem. The sewage was overflowing. Financial management was difficult because there was no income and they had to spend a lot of things to pay, to drain the sewage in the garden, to do many adaptations for the temples. The plumbing, electricity, same was overburdened because consumption, heavy consumption. Then it's a classical. What we really hear, it's a classical. Deity worship, lack of qualified brahmana. Cleanliness, back in a small place, you have to scrub a little more. And devotees' behavior, because you are really intimate with your neighbor, too intimate, then there is sometimes problem. Mataji's, Prabhu's in between themselves, Mataji's in between themselves. It's a long story like that. advantage and problems with community. So to deal with these problems, the temple president is required, or the temple commander. Difficult to find a temple commander who have to run here and there and there. So sometimes like we have this kind of situation in every temple, here also. Presidents have to do many things and sometimes become overburdened. In every service it becomes like that because many temples have to be built, many devotees have to be made, many programs have to be run. ISKCON is a gulf of money, energy, manpower. Whatever quantity we receive, we have to utilize spiritually. So there's no limit. So sometimes devotees become a little overburdened by so much service, so much this. What to do? Have to tolerate Trinadapi Sunichana, Tarorapi Saishnuna, Amanina Mananina, Kirtanya Sadahari. If you want to chant on the long run time to the end of the life, chant Hare Krishna Lira, then you have to really be humble, tolerant, gentle, not retaliate heavily, put your point of view, try to arrange things in a smooth way. This is a way of maintaining our fence toward aggression of bhakti, toward bhakti. We have to protect the jewel of our bhakti. The fence are here, how to be tolerant, arrange things with devotees. Because devotees help us to advance in spiritual life, but we can commit also offenses to the devotees, and that will slow down our advancement. So that's why Prabhupada was dealing with devotees' behavior. Because if you want to really practice spiritual life, at a certain moment in your life, you have to be in the company, in the association of devotees. Because you will do tremendous advancement in the association of devotees. Otherwise, Prabhupada would even qualify spiritual life outside of the association of devotees to be illusory or something that doesn't exist, that have no reality, tangibility. So, best association is to be in a temple or close to a temple, and to be able to stay in a long run fashion. You have to know how to deal with other devotees and to be aware of behavior in between devotees. What is the etiquette? What is the best way to keep these jewels of association with devotees? And little by little you will partake the qualities, and you will partake the qualities of the Holy Name as well. So the secret is to keep around the neck, this verse is super important because if you try to follow this verse, you will be able to culture and maintain the plant of bhakti. To grow tulasi leaves in a flat, it's not an easy thing. You have to take care of the heat, the soil, the watering. There is insects or people or careless people or entities who are here and there. You have to do a lot of protection. So a lot of endeavor have to be done once you practice to maintain this fence and maintain your little beach. Like if you do gardening, you see that you spend a lot of time to protect from so many things, the frost, the bugs, the mushrooms, fungus, careless people, hogs, deers, bugs, dogs, if you don't water, to put some, not only water, but cow dung, so many things. This is all for maintaining. If you see how people are living around us, materially speaking, a lot of endeavor is done to maintain things, maintain buildings, maintain family, maintain cars, maintain machine. Maintenance is actually maintenance is the fight against this all-devouring enemy that is time. Krishna says, I am time who is devouring everything.
So we fight Krishna.
So when we spend time to repair things, to buy spares, to give counseling to decaying devotees or people, this is all to maintain their mind, maintain their status, maintain their body, maintain where they are living. So we don't escape, we have to do the same, but in a spiritual way, with a spiritual spice in our kitchen. So we may take some prasadam now. I thank you for your kind attention, and I wish you a good Sunday feast also.
Thank you.
Shri Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Shri Prabhupada ki Jai.
Giri Govardhan ki
Jai.